Manus flat on the canvas. We are ready to rock and roll. Second round of action. There is a cut on Manus.
Jesus.
Martial arts chat.
My man B-Hop got dropped out the ring last night. I need a little judo baby. I need me a little judo baby, and let's do it, Ron. Let's give me
I see you were filming this. You've got a face for radio.
I've got a face for radio.
That's nice.
Martial arts chat.
Hello, welcome to Martial Arts Chat Podcast, the Roundtable back, and we're reacting to last night's UFC 242, took place in Abu Dhabi, headlined by Dustin Poirier and Khabib Nurmagomedov for the undisputed lightweight belt. Later in the show, answering your fan questions. Thank you to everyone that got in touch. Before I introduce the next panel, just a quick shout out to the sponsors. A1 Fight Gear. A1 Fight Gear use the latest cutting edge boxing gloves for professional and amateur fighters, gym enthusiasts and kickboxers. Local and national gyms in the UK, do yourselves a favour, go check out a1fightgear.com. If you want to get into shape, get back into shape, go to beastgear.co.uk, use the coupon code MartialArtsChat to save 15% off your purchases. They've got core sliders, straps, barbell pads, complete strength and conditioning programs to suit your needs at all levels. We're also sponsored by Feel Supreme. FeelSupreme.co.uk offers CBD oil and natural nutrition. They will assist your progress in diet and lifestyle, natural supplements and complementary services such as yoga, mind coaching and weight cutting programs. And finally, we're also sponsored by World of Martial Arts Television. WOMA.tv produces, finds, acquires, commissions and presents all you ever wanted to know about martial arts. And so to our panel here this evening, delighted to have him back on. It's been far too long, man. From the Daily Record, it's Mr. Tom Heffernan. Tom, how you doing, sir?
Hi John, how you doing? Yes, it does. It feels like a lifetime since I've been on, but I'm back, and it's great to be here.
Awesome to have you on, and also returning the big daddy from Fight Talk Scotland, Mr. Don Wilson. Don, how you doing, sir?
I've been changing too many nappies the last 6 weeks.
Fun and games, mate. Good to have you back. And finally, representing MMA Huddle, it's always a pleasure, Mr. Jon Ferguson. John, how you doing, mate?
Absolutely grand, gents, after a stellar little weekend of fights.
Awesome stuff, man. Guys, 3 fights. I want to get in reaction before we jump into fan questions. Scotland's own Joanne Calderwood gets back in the win column. Was a close fight, but I mean, it probably could have went either way with the takedowns and the ground control, but Jojo gets the win and calls for a title shot in the most timid, probably typical way. That's just her style, isn't it? Let's see the guys' thoughts. We'll start with Jon Ferguson on this one. John, your thoughts on the fight, sir?
Yeah, I thought it was a hard one to score. I'd have to look back at it and kind of look over it. I think the takedowns probably did have an effect on the judging, and there was some questionable scores. It was very even. I thought that Andrea Lee would have the better of the boxing exchanges, which she did. You've got to remember that 125 division. Caitlin Coogan has got the best kind of game plan to get the wins via this, because that's a high probability the decision wins. So she has a high output. It looks like she's landing more. Maybe she's only just tapping, or maybe she's just missing. But on a judge's scorecard, they don't see all the angles. It looks like some land, especially when they do the tennis women shouting that they do. It makes it kind of a bit more of an emphasis. So some probably didn't land as clean as it looked, but I don't really mind the decision either way, because I didn't think either one of them stood out. I knew it'd be an even fight. I thought Andrea Lee might have just edged it with the boxing, but I wasn't too irked with the decision. I thought it was a good fight. I knew it'd be a stellar fight. I think those two girls themselves in the 125 division, they're leaps and bounds above the majority of the other girls in there. Title fight, probably not. Caitlin will probably get the title fight next. She might, I don't know, maybe I'd give Liz Camouche to maybe Jojo Calderwood, give her a wrestler.
That's a good show.
See how she handles that. See if she can handle a wrestler with a strong grappling base.
Yeah, I mean, the question's always been with Jojo, it's the grappling and some takedowns and getting back to her feet as well last night was looking impressive. But otherwise it was just a Muay Thai fight, wasn't it? It was like elbows and teeps and a wee bit more spinning shit I was looking for, but it was a good scrap all the same. Tom, Jojo, like we said, back to winning ways. I guess correct decision for you, mate?
I can see why Joanne won it, I suppose. But when we're waiting on the actual decision, I really wasn't sure. It was so tight. And I think probably the volume, as John said there, Joanne's volume was there as opposed to damaging strikes, because they weren't really, there was no, other than there was a really nice elbow in the first round that it caught
on the break,
Lee, and then briefly knocked her down. So that was probably something that stole her, maybe even stole her the round, because both of them had one takedown each. Yeah, both of them had the takedown each. The striking was very similar. They were both standing trading the whole fight actually. But I think that might have been the difference to steal that round. But what I did notice was that Lee looked really big compared to Joanne. I don't know what kind of weight she cuts, but she really looked much bigger. I know that they're the same height, but she looked much bigger. She had more meat in her bones, So I thought that was quite telling. And Joanne, she doesn't have that knockout power in her feet or her hands. She just lands, and I think that's what it was. Really, I thought it was a well matched fight. The two of them were going to start. As you say, it was a tie fight. The two of them stood there and went at it. I don't think any of the two of them have any knockout power, to be honest. So it was probably always going to go to the judges when you look back at it. But I thought maybe halfway through the second round, Joanne was just landing the more strikes and the odd elbow, and I think Lee decided she didn't want any more of that. I think she decided in her head that Joanne was the better striker and tried a wee bit more takedown as a strategy. But ultimately, I was glad to see Joanne get the win because it sets her up again. I don't think she's anywhere near ready for the title shot yet. I think she would need to go back and probably, as you say, take on a wrestler, look at that grappling side of things, because Shevchenko can do a lot. Get another fight in, and if she performs well in that, then aye. Because she's 33 now. Before she hangs up the gloves, I'd love to see Joanne. She's been in that top 10 the majority of her career, and I would like to see her get at least the title shout. Almost Bisping style. Let them get in there. Let her get in there and have a crack at it, even if she gets beat.
Absolutely.
But no, I've no complaints over the. We want to see the Scottish fighters win, and that was a good scalp to take.
Do you see improvements with her? Because I know things didn't really work out when she was up in Canada, but she's at Syndicate MMA now, right? Do you see improvements in her game, Tom?
Not enough. I do, but not enough.
Mm-hmm.
Not what I'm hoping for. For me, Joanne, she is too happy to let herself get hit. I feel as if she just stands there and quite happy to take a punch to give
the
one.
Trade,
I don't see her. I don't see enough movement. I don't see enough head movement. I don't see enough game plan in that sense. And it's just a case of, I'm happy to let my nose get bloodied up again, but I'll just keep throwing back and relying on toughness. But I don't think that's good. And what I also don't think is when you see, if you look at Joanna Jędrzejczyk, when she stands, she goes in and it's ferocious. But she's trying to kill somebody with the flurries. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She point scores.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's a Thai boxing thing, because I've never done Thai boxing, but I don't know if that's how their mentality is. But for that's. But I'd love to see her just go in there and try and take somebody's head off.
Yeah, like Valerie Letourneau, when she just laid into her, and it was knees and elbows and everything, but she was going for the kill. Then, as opposed to teeps and jabs and racking up points. Unless
that's what syndicates noticed in her and said, no, do that, just let's point score. And but yeah, I don't know what they're like in terms of their wrestling background, that gym. So it'll be interesting to see when she comes up against somebody like that. But sure. I think there is definitely improvement. Probably not enough to be a champion, I don't think. Hope I'm wrong.
Don, how about you? Your thoughts on Jojo and maybe what's next for him, mate?
Because remember I was stuck in some sort of traffic in Glasgow for like a while. From the only thing I heard about the fight was around Facebook, and that was our wrestling was quite improved. And from Tom saying there, it was quite a stand-up fight. So how did the wrestling situation go? Was there a lot of takedowns?
She did get taken down. She managed to grind her way back to her feet, and she scored a takedown herself at the end of one of the rounds, I think. So it sort of evened itself out. It wasn't a grappling contest, but yeah, it was a takedown.
She can take them down, because Lee took her down and kept the side control. Mm-hmm. Drove the shoulder in to hold that head position, and
She
kept
was
her,
looking to go
her
to
body
mount,
low,
yeah.
and so she had that sort of jiu-jitsu type control.
That thing is long gone are
Have
the days where you can be a champion but just be like, oh, I'm a great striker. You need everything, so it's good to hear that.
Yeah.
I think you could go against somebody, let's say Shevchenko or whatever, and total striker, but she's going to have a great wrestler as well. There's no way she's holding the belt and not been good at everything. So you've got to be prepared when you're going there. So it's good to hear that our wrestling's coming along. But as you say, she's 33. She's you don't usually see a lot of the kind of females push past the kind of late 30s in the division. Who, like Zingano, I think she's 38 or something now.
Well, she's a bantamweight as well, you see. She's been cut by the UFC, so she's even higher weight class, so you can cut a bit of slack for the height. As the weight classes go up, you do see the age goes up a bit, but 125, it is a questionable one, because she's obviously got Roxanne Modafferi, etc., all down there at Syndicate, and she is improving, but I just don't. I think so. I think Liz Carmouche would be a horrible matchup for her, but I'd like to see it because I want to see what Joe can do, really.
Because we all know, like, you get the male fighters. We all know what kind of age groups happen with them, but the female MMA is still fairly new. We've not really had a shift in generation. I remember watching it all when Chuck Liddell was a generation, then it shifted to another one. Dos Santos and all that was about, and now it's shifted to another generation, and we've not had a full female generation shift, I don't think. Yeah, there's a lot of females that we were watching a few years ago that when the division was first coming out, they're all kind of starting to push to the end of their career now in mid-30s, late 30s. So it's don't know what's going to happen. It's weird.
Yeah, man.
John, you asked about the difference that we might have seen in her since she went to Syndicate, and I would say the biggest, not so much in the skill sense, but the biggest improvement I've seen is.
What was that, mate? Sorry, did I lose you?
He's choked in his throat.
was talking. Our confidence level is up, whereas she wasn't confident during her spell at TriStar.
They mentioned that in the commentary, saying that she was fed up getting beat up by the guys or whatever, and that's why things sort of didn't work out at TriStar. I don't know how much truth there is to that, but I got to imagine that's been pretty demoralising if you're just getting pounded on by the big boys.
Talking about age, though, she's still got plenty of time. She's 33. She could easily grind away for another 2 years and really improve that skill set and just really go for it in the tail end of her career. If she wants to push, if she wants to go to like kind of mid to late 30s, and she could grind away for the next couple of years, get a couple of wins, really, really work at the gym, and then get that belt, knowing this is the best she's going to get before age catches up with her. So she's still got a few years left on her, but we'll see what happens. She's always been kind of weird where she wins one, she loses one, she wins one, she loses one. So it's time to start kind of stringing them together, I think. And if she's doing well at this new gym, we'll see what happens.
Sure, man. Co-main event saw the rematch between Paul Felder and Edson Barboza, and God, the commentary team, man, they were rooting for the boy, weren't they? Fuck, man. Clash of heads was getting called a headbutt, and they just kept replaying it over and over again. But I mean, I don't know how you guys think, but I mean, if I just let you know, to be honest, I think Barboza got a victory.
I think so.
Felder wants what does he want, top 5, or he wants to be an actor or a commentator or something? They were saying in his post-fight interview.
The first half of that like kind of speech, I was like, it's fine. Then he started saying, I don't need to do this, I could be an actor.
Shut up. I know.
I like you, Felder, but I think that's just a heat of the moment thing, and he's really excited. But I thought, you know what, Felder's seems like a nice guy, but when he got the win, I thought he was going to kind of put the shock look on his face and I didn't win that. He seems the type of guy who, if he knew he didn't win, he would take it, and but he was like as if he just won the World Cup there. He was like, oh yes.
Yeah, well, he did get one back though, to be fair. I mean, it's a rematch, and he lost his first decision, so I guess
the microphone caught it basically as the bell went for the last round. All you heard, he just basically went, fuck. He knew he'd lost that fight.
I missed that bit.
Yeah, no, he heard it loud and clear, and then
Barboza looked stunned. Aye.
Yeah, no, yeah. He knew he'd lost that fight as soon as that bell went, and then obviously he got the win, so it was a weird one. But it was a fun fight, and the head clash was weird because when they were replaying it, they replayed it at a weird speed where it almost looked as if they were actually in motion fighting, but it didn't. It wasn't slow motion, it wasn't fast, so it was like as if they were trying to make it look in Felder's favour.
Oh, they were desperate for that. I mean, Felder was going in with a head. I do think it was a head clash, but to say that Barboza headbutted Felder, You know, it was, if anything, it was the other way about.
I think I saw it 4 times. I'm thinking, it just looks as if they rubbed heads. It was such a weird speed they were showing it at. It wasn't slow motion. It wasn't full. It was a weird one. But no, it was a fun fight, and Barboza, I think, definitely won that fight. And apparently they're going to question the decision to the commission, but we'll see how that goes.
That never plays out, man.
Tom, it never works.
Tom, what about you? Close decision, we said, but was it the correct one for you, mate?
No, and just as Don said there at the end there, the Barboza team are definitely going to appeal that because they had the 30-27 for each fighter, and then another judge, he did 29-28. So how do you get 30-27 for each fighter?
Aye.
That's unusual.
Shocker, isn't it? Yeah, shocking.
Aye. But I think it was a great bit of matchmaking. There is a wee bit of history there. Paul Felder wanted that rematch and avenge the loss and everything else. But I think when you seen the fight play out, he didn't want any part of Barboza's kicking game. So he was trying to close that distance as much as he can, use his boxing, try and get the clinch and everything else. But Barboza was using the low kicks and body shots early doors to keep him at range before the clash of heads, which obviously the blood was in.
You still there, mate?
Aye, my dad keeps trying to phone me, sorry. So the blood played a factor there, but I think Barboza took round 1 definitely. Same again in round 2. Barboza was keeping him at range with the kicks. Took a double leg and put Felder on his backside. But then Barboza get cut, didn't he? Felder cracked him for the bottom.
Yeah, right after the takedown, the elbow.
Above the right eye as well. So that was then pouring into his face, So, but I think for me, Barboza won round 1 and 2. Landed the better strikes.
I agree.
Takedown was there, things like that as well. Third round, I could see why somebody could maybe give that to Felder. He finished strong. He did. Both of them were trying to sort of leave it all out there, and we've seen some of the spinning stuff that you expect for these guys, particularly Barboza. But both of them were bleeding. Barboza was bleeding quite heavy out that right eye. But for me, it was 2 rounds to 1 to Barboza, and I would feel pretty aggrieved if I was him.
Yeah, totally agree, man. John, what about you? How did you score it, mate?
Yeah, I kind of edged Barboza a bit. I thought the takedown was a big factor in it. Obviously, the clash of heads, that happens all the time. Don't worry, it's nothing to fret about. So I think maybe that could have played a factor, though, because the judges, obviously, when it was a clash of heads, anytime then they saw blood on Felder, they may have accustomed that to the clash of heads earlier on, whereas there was damage put onto him during the course of the fight. But like I say, the judge who scored it for Felder was a lady by the name of Maria Makumtova, and I've never heard of her judging fights before. So you've got a handful of judges out there. Dave Leatherby was judging one of the fights. We know about. If you know your judges, I've seen him judge some fights, and he's had some bad ones. He judged that again, 29-28 for Felder. And the only judge who actually gave all 3 rounds to Barboza was Howie Booth. So I just question, what were they all seeing to have no scorecard the same? I had Felder. I picked Felder before the fight began. After my tape study, I thought all Felder has to do, put the output a bit higher, put the boxing onto Barboza, keep it tight, stop Barboza getting those kicks in, keep it nice and compact, and just put the pressure on. Initiate some takedowns, but I thought Felder just lost that fight, in my opinion. And I found Barboza be aggrieved, but at the same time, you can't leave it to the judges in a tight fight like that. He did land more each in the first and second round. He landed more. I think Felder may have landed more in the third off the top of my head, but you can't leave it to the judges, and he's not going to win that appeal. You don't win those appeals. What's the point?
Yeah,
it's an absolute waste of time.
I think it's just to blow off some steam in it, really. You're not going to get any results.
Yeah.
Aye. I think if one appeals one, then they all start flooding in.
Well, that's it. Aye.
And then it opens a can of worms,
Yeah, they're not going to appeal that for sure. Main event, everything I expected, despite the heat, despite what folk were telling me on the show last week. Some people were calling for a Poirier KO. This was just another victim for a Khabib mauling. No one can stop this guy. Maybe besides Tony Ferguson, but I don't even know about that because that fight's jinxed, man. That'll never happen. I keep saying it. But let's start with Jon this time. Jon, was this how you saw it going down, and your thoughts on the fight, mate?
Yeah, I did think that Khabib was going to win. I didn't think he was going to win as early. I thought he might have got to the 4th or 5th round. I just thought that Dustin would have been able to use a bit more footwork to make it work for him. So switching stances, cutting an angle a bit more with the jab, just keep it on the long range of the punches. But he just didn't have an answer for Khabib closing him down with the strikes. And then it's almost like he baited into what Khabib does. He has that certain posture. It looks like he's so upright and prone to get struck, but he's only doing it to bait you in, and everyone falls for it. And then he just obviously resets, changes level, initiates a takedown. And when he gets on top of you, he's got beautiful control of the hips, beautiful control of the legs, and he's just constantly moving. So he doesn't just lie on you and hold you. Even when it looks like he's not doing much, what he's doing is he's just applying the pressure on the hips. He's holding the wrist, moving the wrist so you can't get on back onto there. He'll move your hips and feet in the positions. He's doing such intricate little details that people don't really notice it unless you study grappling or if you actually have grappled yourself. And it's exhausting. The way he does it, it is an exhausting movement. And Dustin, he was obviously heartbroken after the fight. But I think a lot of fighters go into there thinking it's just a wrestler. I train with wrestlers every day. I'll just stop it. But there's levels to the game, and there's guys that are just that elite, like your Daniel Cormier, your Henry Cejudo, your Khabib. There's guys out there that are just another level to your wrestling, and you can't stop it. So, the only thing that griped me about the whole night was Conor McGregor asking for the rebook of the rematch. I was like, I was like, sit down and know your role, and it ain't getting a rematch. But yeah, it's interesting to say the least. I think Khabib's just a superior grappler, and I think even Tony Ferguson, he has a great standing striking technique. It's very unorthodox, but I think he's open for takedowns, and I think Khabib will go for it. Tony Ferguson has a good control off his back. I just don't know if he'll get Khabib.
Yeah, that's always a question, like you saw like the Kevin Lee fight. I mean, he almost invites a takedown so that he can get it to the ground and work off his back, but it's a different old game, man. When it's Khabib in it, it's just another world. There's no one, I know what you're saying about that there's levels and that there are high level grapplers such as Khabib, but there's no one like him, that no one at that level that he's operating at, man, that like the level of RPMs, as they say, like he's on another planet, man. He really is. Don, how about you? Khabib dominance, pretty much how it was always going to go, right?
I was wondering how it would go if it kind of went into the later rounds, but I think it was always in the cards that if Khabib gets that takedown, he's always going to get that takedown. So pretty much as soon as I got that, it was done. We had the kind of exciting bit in the second round where Poirier kind of got in the front foot a bit, but it was, as soon as he was basically kind of chasing him, but as soon as he took that one step back too close to the cage, I was like, what are you doing? And as soon as he took that step back, he was back in his ass again. Too close to the cage. And then that rode out that round, and then obviously he lost in the third. But I like Poirier. Like, he was one of those fighters, if he was on a card, I was never tuning in to watch Poirier. It was just like, he was just, Poirier's fighting tonight, watch it, and it's then on to the next fight. But over the last kind of 2 or 3 years, I have started to like him, and I was rooting for him, like, I kind of want Poirier to win this. But he couldn't really see past Khabib. It's like, Poirier's looked great recently, but it's like, if Khabib's getting that takedown and Poirier's not doing anything to go up, it was game over. So that was pretty much how it went. Yeah, obviously Conor. I saw it looked like a video link from the press conference, and I don't know how legit it was, because I never actually clicked it, but it said if Tony doesn't take the fight, Conor will get it. But I don't know how Tony's obviously going to take the fight. There's no way he doesn't. But you know what Tony's like with his injuries.
Yeah. Well, I know, man. I know how the both of them are with injuries and pulling out, and just the curse of this matchup.
What is the kind of top 4, top 5 in that division at the moment? You've got obviously Khabib, champ.
Gaethje probably is in there, I imagine. I don't know.
Where's Conor sitting, like third?
Oh fuck, probably pound for pound number 1 on these fucks.
I think Conor's fourth. Or is that? I'm sure he is.
So he's,
Connor's fourth. That's mental.
Mad,
When he
innit?
doesn't do anything.
I know.
Yeah.
Mad.
Absolutely
fight in the-
pointless.
Ronda Rousey's number 3.
like he needs to at least win another fight before he gets a sniff of that title. But you know what he's like. He'll be training, and if anybody gets injured, you know he'll straight be on Twitter saying, "Book it, I'm coming."
Yeah.
But and then if that happens, I think people wouldn't mind. Like folk are injured, we need this, we want a fight, blah blah blah. But I don't want. I'd rather them not book it. I want to see Conor at least get another one, and I do want to see Tori and Khabib. That fight's been, like I said, I think last 4 or 5 years that fight's been booked every year, and it's never happened.
Aye.
So I do want to.
I want to see it as well, man. Don't get me wrong about. I would love to see it, but I don't think it's ever going to happen, man. For
and
whatever
the
reason.
GSP people are always like, "Oh, GSP will never be the greatest if he doesn't beat Khabib." That's going to be the same story as long as MMA exists. There's always going to be somebody who is the greatest, the best, and then somebody who comes in and takes the thing. The younger guy that comes in, I think it's unfair sometimes. GSP is pushing 40. He came back, went away. There's no need for him to come back and fight him, and from it all ruin his legacy, because there's always going to be a younger guy who's coming up that ladder who people say, "What if?" And it's always going to be that. So I don't think GSP should come back. It's like he's done what he needs to do.
He doesn't need to, does he? Exactly, mate. Exactly. Tom, what about you, sir? A foregone conclusion for Khabib was this?
Pretty much. I think a lot of people, when you certainly seen it on social media, they all had a wee glimmer of hope. For some reason, the majority of folk want to see Khabib lose. I don't know
think
whether
folk
it's
dislike
because-
him. That's the thing. People don't seem to dislike Khabib. They just don't. They want to
see history be made, I guess. I don't know.
Aye, they don't like his style. I think they see him as boring, unless you're a purist and you actually know what you're watching and you know what you're talking about. But the casual fan will probably see this guy just dragging folk down and getting these results, and they want to see spinning stuff and knockouts, and you know. And I think that's where he gets a lot of flack on social media and stuff like that. But for the fight itself, I think Dustin Poirier, it was his boxing was going to have to rely on his boxing. He's got sort of well documented hip issues. His kicking's not what it used to be. He doesn't really use them that often these days. So he was going to have to try and box Khabib on the feet, and that just means that he's close enough to drag him and get him down there. I know Poirier's got a black belt and stuff like that, but Khabib seems to be kryptonite to black belts. They don't seem to be able to do anything.
Khabib actually came out and says that choke was close.
Oh, did he?
He came out and said, "Yeah, he was close to going away with that choke."
Right, because I think he just allowed him to. He didn't have his left hand in the right area. You know, he was going to blow his arm out if he didn't. I think other people would have tapped to that, by the way. I don't think Khabib was ever going to, but I think it was a foregone conclusion before it, especially over there in Abu Dhabi as well. You know, there was a lot of pressure on Khabib to go out and win there in front of the crowd that were all his crowd.
It was his people, wasn't it? Aye.
It's his people. It was doing it for them, and he got the job done, and he celebrated. I don't know whether he celebrated quite a lot. I don't know whether he actually thought he was going to get more of a challenge than he did.
He jumped the cage and ran
against
That was so funny, man. When he jumped that cage, Dana must have been shitting himself, man.
That's right. I never thought about that. It's just like, you know, that thing where just I think I heard this in like Joe Rogan or something. The tiger, when you're like the tiger just the tiger just jumps for you, and as it's flying through the air, it just disappears, and like the shit in your brain basically just helps you through death. And it's like you must have just saw Khabib run. I'm like, fuck, that's it, it's over. It's like, my time on this planet is coming to an end.
Done.
Here's the thing, but right, I mean, when everybody's talking about nobody's got the answer, who has got the answer to him? Everybody thought that about Royce Gracie at the beginning. What is this jiu-jitsu stuff? He's killing everybody.
We have seen he's human. Like Poirier nearly choked him out and obviously gave him a wee bit of trouble on his feet. So he is human. It's just if he gets a hold of their legs and you're against the cage, you're not going anywhere.
But what he does, I think it was John that mentioned that what he does is because his wrestling is so elite, and the style that he brings to it, he tires folk out way before they should be tired. And I think we've seen that with Conor, we've seen that with Dustin, and Dustin's got a great engine, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's when it starts, there's no way back. As soon as people start gassing because of the relentless pressure that he puts them under, there is no way back. And that if Tony Ferguson's got any weapon at all, it's his cardio. You know, I mean, of course he's a great fighter anyway, but what he has got is an absolutely phenomenal cardio level.
Tony's got a good height on him, hasn't he?
Aye, he's about
he's big. He's big for
5'11".
Yeah, because sometimes like I'm obviously it's a bit. There's a guy I train who's like, guy's an absolute tree, and you go for the takedown, and where a normal person would, you would start positioning yourself, you realise you're only at his thighs and his knees, and you're like, fuck's sake, you've got to climb up him to get to hold him down. And I don't think Tony always comes across as a tall guy, but I don't know how tall he is compared to Khabib. Like if Khabib's taking him down and riding those hips and getting up, the height and the length might be an advantage to him. But
is he going to tire Tony out in 3? Will he take him down? Aye, he will.
Yeah, of course.
Is he going to tire him out? I don't know.
Well,
I don't know if he will.
Well, the thing is, Tony, you got to remember with Ferguson, when the fights that he's never had a wrestler dominate him, so he's not had to exert himself into that level, because when a lot of the time he maybe falls into guard with them, and so he's happy in guard. But if you've got someone like Khabib in your side control, quarter guard, side control, or mounts, it then changes the complex of how you have to move and escape.
And that weird mount that he does against the cage, you know, the one where he ties the legs up? Yeah, and he has them sitting against the cage.
Yeah, so that's where you tire out more. That's a lot more exerting than, for example, being in guard. Because in guard, Tony Ferguson can operate the kind of 10th planet jiu-jitsu offense. But when he's in those harder positions with Khabib's very good at nullifying your weapons in those positions, holding the control of the wrist. That's really exhausting because Khabib's a very strong individual. You're fighting his resistance to get off him and get yourself up with a human being who's probably weighing probably 180 on the fight day. You got to lift 180 pounds each time. It's just physically exhausting.
It'd be interesting to see how that camp goes, because it was the last time in 21 he was talking at the press conferences. He hasn't sparred in years.
That's
so
right.
It's like
it's terrifying blowing another knee out.
Because that's the thing where like everybody's got a game plan to get hit, and if you're wanting to really properly train to get up off the ground when Khabib, you've got to get hit in the face, because it's all well and good some guy holding you down. When Khabib holds you down, he does he taps you and kind of keeps you like, by the way, I'm still here. You're not going anywhere. And like, I don't know, you could just drill takedown after takedown after takedown, but it's the same thing. As soon as you're in that cage, it's totally different. I think you need to have a bit more pressure, and I don't know if he'll change up his camp and go, right, this is my legacy. I might take a rougher fight camp this time, but I don't know. We'll see if that fight ever happens. I really want to do him, but you never know.
Touching that wood.
Khabib's not new to the division. He's been there a long while, so surely to God, everybody's been sitting, all the best minds in the game are sitting going, right, what do we do here? How do we beat this guy?
I wonder if there's people phoning the gyms, like the top fighters, going like, I'm the guy, I'm the wrestler to bring in. So I wonder who it is these people bring in.
Has Khabib ever faced, I'm trying to think who he's fought, has he ever faced a proper elite wrestler? Maybe not quite his level, but
an elite.
Has he ever
Michael Johnson was
has he ever come up
good
against
wrestling, but I wouldn't say elite.
Somebody with GSP.
Nothing like that. Did he not fight Abel Trujillo? He's pretty solid wrestling. I mean, elite. No, I can't think of anyone that's elite now.
But you think about a gym like Khabib trains with Cormier, like he's they two guys are probably fucking tied up all day in their wrestling. I think it's going to be hard. Like it's always the same, because he probably will train with Cormier, and then he hits the mat or hits the cage, and it's somebody his own size, and it's always a totally different. You feel so much better when you're going through a fight camp and you're always sparring with a bigger guy, and then you finally get in there and fight and you realise this guy's the same size as me, and it's almost like a weight coming off you, because you're finally right.
A relief.
You've been training for that big guy, and then you hit somebody and he's the same size as me. So I think Khabib, I think that's one of the reasons why I Rex for, because he's training with absolute beasts probably every day.
Sure, man. Guys, time for the final part of the show, my favourite, answering fan questions. Just a reminder to the panel, the one rule we have in the podcast, don't wait your turn, the floor is yours. So we'll start with the Twitter questions this week. At MMA Romero, Poirier's guillotine was tight but not enough to get the tap. I wonder how Ferguson's Darce would do in that situation.
It's Well, the DOS for jiu-jitsu is a different position to get as well. It's a different hold. So obviously that's an arm in guillotine. To get the DOS, really, you need Khabib to not be on him so much. The DOS hold, what you'd want to be getting is you want to get his arm all the way through under the armpit. I don't think you'd get that deep with Khabib because Khabib's very on top of you when the takedown offense. So he's very tight. He might get the arm through to the neck, but Khabib's obviously a bit more aware of that. And like I said before off air, it looked tight and it was tight, but it wasn't on because Khabib was very smart with elevating the hips. He was smart at getting round. He was stopping Dustin from getting the angle. Khabib's very calm in those situations. He looked very calm, and I think it'll be hard for Ferguson to get that DOS choke because where you really want to set it up, you want to have a dominant position. I think Ferguson will have a tough time getting that choke on.
I mean, he can hit it from anywhere. We saw that in the Barboza fight. He just snapped it down from standing. But it's easier said than done when you're talking about Khabib. Fuck, man. At Jama_1XC, I don't know. Khabib putting the belt on Islam Makhachev at the presser, saying he's the future champ. Thoughts? I didn't see it. No,
I didn't see that.
Oh yeah, I saw that picture. They just took a kind of picture. Because he was the guy, he was not. Was it co-main event?
It was just before the co-main event. Yeah,
because they were walking out, and the commentators were saying if it wasn't for Khabib, this guy would be the Khabib kind of thing. Oh, yeah. He's way obviously that group of people, like being the idol. So like I think his record's great as well. He's unbeaten, and it's crazy high. So yeah, I think. Obviously, what division is he in?
I'm sure he's lightweight.
155.
Well.
Yeah, he's going to take. He's basically he's 155 as well. Basically trains with Khabib, aka they're all from the kind of same, let's say, kind of same group, so to speak.
The ACB gym.
Yeah, he's got one loss. Yeah, exactly. He has got one loss. He lost to Adriano Martins. He got stopped by Adriano Martins. Gosh, when was that? A few years back, he got stopped by him. Right. But he has come on a lot more. He got caught out by Armin Turek. God, what the hell's that dude's name again? In that epic last fight that he had. But I think Islam Makhachev underestimated who he was. But Islam is a legit bad motherfucker, to be honest with you. He is sickly talented. It's just he sometimes come in, I think, underestimating opponents.
Yeah, I didn't think much of the fight last night though with Islam. I think that the two of them were trigger shy. They were waiting on the other guy to go. There was a lot of that. It wasn't as bad as like Derek Lewis and who was that, Ngannou. I mean, that was horrific. But there's a lot shades of killers
because obviously ACB. There's a lot. You always see a lot of fighters for Dagestan and that. And there's a lot of killers that come out of the gyms over there. So and there's a lot more of them in the UFC now for Dagestan that are kind of getting up there. Is Magomedov? Is he from that area as well?
Probably.
The guy with the big crazy hair. I forget where he's from.
Yeah, it's a beat. Yeah, Dagestan. Yeah.
A lot of killers.
It must be crazy to walk about those streets where it was just you look at them, just full of killers. That 90% of the population will just dream to train MMA.
Beards everywhere. Aye. Let's see. At Craig Allen FNP, does Tony Ferguson finally get his due and will a fight with Khabib materialise? Done, man.
Dana did say that, didn't he? He said that Tony's next, and if Tony pulls out, then it's Conor. You know, and do you know what? Somebody mentioned it earlier on. It's Conor, whether he's due that fight, and he's talking about book me the rematch in Moscow and all that sort of nonsense. The danger the UFC have got is because they know that rematch will sell pay-per-views regardless, right?
Why?
If Conor comes in and fights somebody and loses, that's it done.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all the millions and
millions, another Diaz fight still sells. I think he's got that in his back pocket.
Don't get me wrong. If I don't want to see Conor jump in and take this fight if Tony pulls out, I'd rather see Tony go and fight. If Tony gets beat, I would love to see a big build up with Khabib and a fight in Russia. It would be like literally it would be Rocky 4. It would be absolutely mental. Such a hostile environment. It would be a really good build up. And obviously, if he gets beat a year, because say Tony that Khabib's not fighting Tony to early next year, or New Year or something like that. So it's a while away. Once that's done, Conor's not going to fight Khabib if that happens. Probably to late next year, maybe the middle of next year. So it'll be a year after that. Conor will probably be pushing 35 or something. Then if he gets beat by Khabib, you've got another 8 months, 12 months to fight Diaz. It could be 4 years or something like that before we see a Diaz fight and Conor retires, and he might only fight twice. So I could see. I don't think he's done if he gets beat. I think he will fight Diaz, but it could be 2 years away before he fights. You know what he's like.
They've already booked Diaz and Masvidal, haven't they? So that's
like last night.
Aye, that's going to be amazing, man.
Conor's just need to decide what he's doing. Is he part of this game or is he not?
He's 31. He's 31 now, so he's kind of reaching that peak, isn't he? Where he doesn't want to go on the downside of his career. Where in maybe, like you say, 2-3 years, that will probably be especially in the lightweight division. That's starting to maybe take a bit of a toll on him. He wants to maybe, if he really wants to do anything, he wants to take advantage of these next 2-3 years and get out. You know, at least, like you say, 2 fights maybe. If he wants to make big money, make 2 fights if he can. Because he's only fought, like, since what? Last year, he had that fight against Eddie Alvarez at 205, and that was back in 2016. Then he had the stupid boxing crap. Then he fought in 2018 against Khabib and got his ass handed to him.
He's probably not going to fight this year. Well, he might fight late.
No, I don't think he's fighting this year. I think we've got one more and we're done.
But that's the thing, like, he needs to. You say he's 4th or 5th in the division. He needs to like let somebody that's 9th, 10th. He needs to kind of keep active. Obviously, the bottom half of the division is tied up now. He's not in the picture because he's lost. He needs to let the guy at 6th, 8th come down.
Paul Felder.
He needs to keep active. Yeah, he needs to. He can't just sit there and go, right, I'll fight once every couple of years. I'm 3rd. If they beat, I'm obviously next. Right? He needs to. Like, so that's Felder. What was it? Felder's 10th.
No, he's in the top 5.
I'd like Gaethje.
Barboza. I think it lined up as Barboza was 5th and Felder was 10th, and then Felder's like, "Oh, that's me. I'm coming from 10th." I says, "That's not how you don't beat the 5th guy, and all of a sudden you're 5th." Usually, Barboza will probably move down. He'll move up. Somebody will move it to top 10 kind of thing. But yeah, set a Felder fight up. We'll see what happens.
It was close. I think that fight. We were seriously looking at that fight.
The Gaethje.
Gaethje and Cowboy is what I do.
I think Gaethje was in the comments in Twitter for McGregor saying something like saying how bad of a father was and a fighter was, you know that.
Yeah, that will not have been Gaethje. That'll be Ali. That'll be Matt Ali.
Oh, your favourite person, John? You love him.
Just this poison. He just basically uses his fighters to talk smack on their Twitter accounts because he wouldn't do it in real life to anyone's face. Just an absolute job's worth, little corrupt, little bloody terrorist. Yeah, jog on, lad.
I love it. Brilliant, mate. More from Twitter, at MacMally MMA. Khabib is so good, even his wife has never got top mount on him. Hashtag UFC 242. Good job. Good question indeed. At Ross FP MMA, Conor versus Poirier 2 is the fight to make next. Both coming of a loss to Khabib, both wanting another title shot. Interesting to see them run it back. Should the UFC book this?
Yeah, I heard that. Like people say it kind of does make sense, and that's what like I said. I think it was I can't remember if it was earlier on or off air. I was like, back in the day, I wasn't like Poirier was nobody like excited me. It was like, oh, Poirier's on the cards, probably going to make some wrestling here and stuff like that. And that was the same. Like Conor beat him, I was like, oh, expected, blah blah blah. And then since kind of Conor moved up, Poirier's been kind of creeping up behind him, and he's like, I actually quite look forward to seeing Dustin Poirier fight now, but I don't know how a McGregor fight goes. Poirier's been a hell of a lot more active, and he's definitely got that on his side, but I don't know how that fight goes in 2019, 2020 if it ever gets booked. But
I think it's a pointless fight because it's not going to get Conor. You know, you can't beat Poirier and then ask for a title shot. I don't think, because he was absolutely owned in that fight against Khabib, and beating him for a second time doesn't really prove anything.
Yeah,
I think he needs to beat somebody new. He needs to beat a Gaethje or somebody proper.
Just someone new, someone new on your record,
somebody new. Yeah.
But I think it'd be a harder fight though, Dustin, at 155 than it was at 145.
Yeah, no, it would be for sure, man. Yeah.
But then again, you look at if you looked at Dustin's social media, the comments he made about whether or not he'll fight again, he said, whether or not I fight again, and he goes off, and you think, if you got that question in your head, son, get out.
Well, maybe that's just coming off the back of a mauling from Khabib. You mean you're bound to think that way.
Every McGregor fight sells, but there's nothing interesting about a McGregor Poirier too. It's like there's no heat. Poirier's not going to talk shit to him, which means McGregor's probably not going to kind of get riled up, and he might try and poke a bit at him and try and get a bit of him. But Poirier will just grind away, come in and fight. So it doesn't obviously it'll sell, but it's nothing exciting. Like I think a Gaethje fight would be good. Something like that. Get something new. And get all the hype and stuff back and see what happens if he can get past new opposition. Yeah, sign him back up the ladder.
Beating Gaethje's not a given either.
No,
he's a tough guy. Very tough guy. You know,
he's got a limited
I would
time in
my
the
aim
cage.
best for when I beat him.
Sure, man. I would be too. Just Moji Army. Conor McGregor won a round against Khabib with a broken foot after a 2-year layoff. Pound for pound, #1. Greatest of all time. Hashtag UFC 242.
Lay off that proper 12. Lay off that proper 12 whiskey.
I did hear some people saying that it makes Conor's loss not seem as bad because of how far he went. But after a 2-year and stuff like that, but that doesn't really. You don't really. Can you bring that into it?
No.
So, a loss is a loss.
Exactly, mate. At Else for Elf, Cowboy versus Gaethje next week. Who we got, fellas?
That's a decent main card.
Gaethje.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Leg kicks, Gaethje's all day long, but I don't know. If Cowboy wants it, he usually takes it. I don't know, man. That's hard. It's
definitely a fun fight, but it's one of those ones where Cowboy is getting on these days, and he's starting to kind of like. There's points where Cowboy would just win fight after fight after fight, and then get to somebody you think, he's fought like 4 times this year. He should easily beat this guy, and then gets iced, and you're thinking he's fought too much. But when was it? He had a wee bit of a rocky run recently, didn't he? Was it 1 or 2 losses? Then he got back in the win column. I think it was maybe like last year or something.
Mike Perry was when he got back.
Was that 170? Wasn't it? You see, yeah.
Back to 155.
I'd be interested to see the stats and how many times both of those guys have been hit.
Fuck, can you imagine? Just in sparring alone.
They're the poster boys for CTE, aren't they?
I totally forget who's on the card now, but Duffy's back. But the main card looks actually pretty decent. It'll be a good way. I think that'll be a good wee card. Let's say Todd Duffy's back. He's must have
Todd Duffy's back. What?
He must have the weirdest.
When was the last time he fought Frank Mir?
Shocker.
He fought, and then who was it? He beat. He had his debut or something was this amazing win.
Mike Russo, wasn't it? No, did he lose to Mike Russo?
It was no, but I thought it was somebody really high up, and it was this guy, this kid's the next big thing, and then he absolutely iced in one of his fights, and he just disappeared for years, and then was back
Tim
in the
Hague. He knocked out Tim Hague, lost to Mike Russo. That was it. Then he went
Russo
off to fight.
Russo was a big fat guy, wasn't he?
Yeah. So Russo beat him, starched him, and then he went and fought Alistair Overeem in Japan.
That's right, and he gets sparked out. Yeah, I remember watching that. The entrance is about twice as long as the fight. Aye, that's right.
And he's had such a weird career, and obviously he's back now, so I don't know where he's been.
He's just I'm not really fussed about him as a human. He got Glover at Teixeira against Nikita Krylov. It's a tough one for Glover. Yeah, Glover's at a crossroads, but Gaethje Cerrone's a hard one to pick, really, because you look at the performance Cerrone put in in his last match against Quinta. It's just like that was the kind of performance you want to see. But then he lost to Tony Ferguson. You think, right, okay, is Gaethje just going to do it? Just put that pressure on Donald Cerrone, and because Donald likes that space, he likes that area just to kind of work off and kind of craft his skill set. But Justin Gaethje, I think he's just going to put pressure on Donald, have him backing up, and I think leg kicks will play a huge factor. And just absolutely, I think it'll take a toll. And
Cerrone needs to use that. He needs to get the kind of the Thai mindset. He needs to use the kicks and then use those kicks to keep his distance and catch him as he's coming in wild. So does he catch him, or does Cerrone keep good distance and just pick him apart until he basically batters through the Gaethje's face shield and just basically faces him in a bit.
Face shield.
We'll see how far it goes. But yeah, it's actually a good wee card to watch.
I'm excited for it, man.
He reminds you like a modern day Cabbage Guerrera, isn't he? Just like
Homer Simpson, you joking?
I'll just stand here and let people hit me until I win.
Man. He's old school.
I am very old school. I'm showing age
old
here.
school, yeah.
Facebook questions before we wrap up, guys. Just the 3 for Facebook this week. Miles Painter asks, what's next for Bilal Muhammad and Don Madge following their respective victories at UFC 242?
With Don Madge, I'd take my time with it. He's only got his second fight. I'd take a bit of time, a little build him up a bit, because he has got holes in his game. But for Bilal, give him a top 15. Bilal's a fun dude to watch. But he said it himself. Who was the one he said last week he liked the look of? In his post-fight interview. Someone, a welterweight that fought last week that had a good fight. And he's, Jing Lian, that was it. He said, how about me and Jing Lian fight? And I went, love it. He said, it'll be a good one for the fans. And that would be a hell of a scrap.
Nice one, man. Good shout.
I missed all the undercard fights because I was stuck in traffic. Only caught the main card.
I do like Bilal Muhammad. He's a good scrap.
Don't know how they're looking.
I'm in the same boat. I missed those fights as well. I'm sorry. So I'll agree with what John said.
overall, because obviously I only saw the main card when we were stuck in Glasgow traffic. But overall, because I remember watching the last event over there, and I think it was actually like outside, like at the edge of the trackers. It was a weird kind of setup, but it was probably one of the worst UFC events in history. I don't think there was any air condition because it seemed like it was outside. It was, that was.
Was that Roy Nelson?
Silver?
No. There was one after that. There was. I'm sure it was. Was it Roy Nelson and Big Nog? I'm sure that was Abu Dhabi, right?
I thought it was only one.
There's only been the two. There was Anderson Silva.
I remember Silva and
Maya was the first
but
one.
I'm sure there was one after that. Maybe I'm getting mixed up.
Because I think the best fight on that card was the first fight in the main event. It was Kendall Grove, and it was like, that's a rough UFC card, and Kendall Grove's the best fight in the card. Everybody was just 30 seconds into the fights, everybody was done. It was like, mate, you just want to just lie about here and we'll just cuddle for a bit. It was an absolute nightmare to watch. And that was the one where Maya just kept on going on his back, and he's like, come on. It was like,
that was brutal, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was a rough card, but obviously they've got a full arena there now. It's fully air conditioned. Nobody seemed to really struggle, so I wouldn't mind seeing some more cards over there. It's a bit of excitement for something different.
No,
guys. Nelson was Abu Dhabi.
Yes, 100 points to me. Yes.
Yeah. Well, it was fight night. It was just a fight night card, not a pay per view.
I mean, I don't want to say anyone was not struggling with the heat. I remember seeing who was the Brazilian boy on the undercard who was fighting the Russian boy. Oh man!
One of the I think it was Mike Bourne or somebody that said he went cage side and says it is really warm, but it's not crazy warm. It seems between 15 and 20. He said, I'm thinking that just seems like good Scottish weather.
No, it's not hot. It's not hot outside of it, but when you're in the cage, the lights.
Yeah, the humidity.
Right.
Yeah, because when I've competed, I competed in the card in Wales mid-July, and we were the main event. So you had the whole crowd, the heat from the people in the arena. And obviously the lights when you stepped in, it was insane. I was just stood there sweating. I wasn't even doing anything. It was the heat was unreal. So, but I
always hate the fact where you see the guys like training in California and stuff like that, and I'm like, I don't know how they can do that. I hate getting into the gym to do some sparring in July or something like that. It's horrible, and that's Scotland.
Oh, yeah, for sure, man. I mean, just to divulge a bit, we've got Beardew. He's out, was it the end of this month in Mexico?
Singapore?
No, Mexico,
that's
and
right.
like, Jesus, man, how do you acclimatise for that?
I wonder how early it'll go out, because I was curious to see how early Poirier and stuff went out. Cause I'd imagine you'd need to get out there a good few weeks before.
Well, he's not there. He's not there at the moment.
Stevie Ray's in Singapore, isn't he?
Aye,
Stevie Ray.
And Danny Henry is. Wow, where's is he? In Copenhagen? Yeah, he's Copenhagen.
Copenhagen. Aye.
Yeah.
Paul, I think it's not so much the heat, it's
the sea level,
altitude,
sea level cane.
Sea level cane.
Exactly.
But it's a thing though, right? I mean, I know sea level cane became a meme, but it's true, man. It's like the air's thin, so
they used to do all that. Tito Ortiz used to be kind of one of the guys that he used to run. I don't know if he ran or that his main thing. His was it Big Bear or something they called it.
Big Bear, aye.
And that was meant to simulate the kind of the altitude. So when you actually went to your arena and fought it, as if you could hold, like you had infinite air because you were used to training at a high altitude. So yeah, but interesting to see how the Mexico one goes.
For sure, man. Chris Allen is asking, why did Khabib get paid $6 million and Dustin got paid, what was it, 290,000? Something like
Oil
that.
money.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Oil money.
I think that was pretty obvious.
It's pretty obvious, yeah.
Kevin Jones was itching in the group chat to chat on that, but I mean, it's pretty much. I mean, I'm surprised they disclosed it. Let's be honest, they didn't have to.
Yeah, because even then, like, what?
So
Who was
money.
I think it was a Dusk. It was Khabib's mate. He got a decent paycheck as well. Was he not like 160k or something?
I think that was because of the bonus, wasn't it, or something? Was it bonuses? Let's have a look again. Give me a second. I've got it here.
I put a thing up today with
even
the
Dustin.
pays.
Because what did Dustin get? 260? Did you say?
It says here 290k. I don't know if it's official, but that's
Even
what it's like.
that is still quite high.
I mean, for sure. Aye.
Yeah.
And that's not
Well,
pay-per-view points
everybody
and all that
noticed
kind of
that,
stuff. So
the press conference, Dana, he normally comes out and sits down and says tonight's gate was.
yeah, he didn't do that, did he?
He just said, "Listen, I don't have that information because they're controlling the gate."
Yeah, because they told me so.
and they'll announce it later on. So I thought that was quite interesting.
Because
He's been a
so
good
I don't know
boy.
if any of these like follow like the WWE. They've done events in Saudi Arabia, and it's literally
Right.
they've got like they just want these big wrestling shows, and like the Saudis, like they're asking WWE to put these wrestlers on the card, and they're fucking dead.
Yeah.
They're flinging as much
Macho
money as
Man
they can.
versus fucking Snooker.
I don't care if this guy's been retired for 10 years. I want
Big
him
him
to
up.
wrestle, and then all of a sudden.
Take him
That's
out.
why you got.
Like Shawn Michaels was like, I'm never wrestling again, no matter what, and all of a sudden he's sweet chin fucking kicking folk in Saudi Arabia because he's probably getting millions for it.
Well, the story
Yeah,
I always
imagine
go
that's
to
what's
is
happened with this, so, like-
who's the Saudi prince that got Beyonce and Jay-Z like fucking to perform in their living room or something, right? And it's
But it's like the Ruiz Joshua fight. It's happening at Saudi Arabia.
That was such a weird, and I'm like, why the fuck are they fighting there?
Well, is it weird?
It's not
Is
weird.
it-
It's money. It's
Or is
money.
it Hearns going, give me that blood money?
Exactly, mate,
Cheddar,
exactly.
cheddar.
Yep.
He doesn't give a fuck
it's all
about
about
the
the bling.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like we're gonna hold it in Mexico, we're gonna hold it in the UK. No, we'll
No,
go
we're
to
fucked.
the
We're
country
getting
where
paid.
both people can reach. Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
You get so many wrestlers these days. The WWE is a totally different product it was 20 years ago. Like the the female division is good to watch. They seem really kind of everything seems well oiled, and then all of a sudden like fuck it, let's just put it back to the dark ages. And we'll take the hit and we'll get the money for Saudis. And like there's no females allowed to wrestle, and it's like fuck off. Don't take that blood money. Just fucking say no.
They only just allowed women to drive last year, didn't they? Or
Yeah.
something? You know what I mean? It's like it's a backwards country still. Like, come on.
And it's
Did
just
you not
it's like-
notice? Did you not notice in the crowd that the majority of the guys weren't even watching the fights?
Oh,
See, when you
the
could see the crowd, they were
same with the WWE.
There was so much
Yeah.
chatter when it was
Leather-
Joanne and
leather-
KGB fighting. Like everyone was just chatting amongst
K-
themselves.
Instead of being rows of people at cage side and the Saudi one, it's literally it's like big couches and like kind of canopies and stuff like that. And the folk have literally got all their backs turned to the actual ring, just talking to their families and stuff. I didn't notice that in the Abu Dhabi one. Like the crowd actually looked fairly normal. That like I remember the first Abu Dhabi one. It was a lot of folk in
Fairly
the
normal.
and stuff.
Careful.
But no, it wasn't full of the folk in the kind of the traditional dress and stuff for that. There was a lot of normal just people t-shirts, jeans.
Yeah, general attire. Yeah.
Yeah, so and the place was packed. It was obviously you had like the folk in their robes and stuff right up front because they're the big money boys. But it seemed like it was an actual okay venue and a decent crowd and stuff. But I never saw the undercard, so I never heard the chat between the fans and stuff like that.
Yeah. Just talking of money, did you notice Joanne Calderwood get paid $45,000, 20 to show up, 20 to win, and then your 5,000 Reebok or whatever the hell it was.
Yeah.
But are we trying to say that she's getting 20 grand to show up, having been in the UFC and had for all those years and had 10 fights? Is that what she's getting a fight?
Mate,
Is that what they paid her?
They're shocking, like the UFC. They will literally not give an inch to anyone if they can. If you've been watching the lawsuit, the UFC lawsuit that's been going on,
No.
Oh, jump on bloody elbow. It's MMA. Gosh, give me a second. His name. Give me a sec. It is MMA Analytics. Paul Gift. He's been covering the kind of antitrust lawsuit that's been going on with the UFC, and they showed between like 2012, 2016, Bellator, Strikeforce, all these promotions, their revenue to their fighter pay is like around a 60% mark, and the UFC is 20.
Oh.
You know, it's just an insane gap, and that is why you'll see fighters getting paid. There's still now in 2019 fighters getting signed to the UFC on a 10 and 10.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
10 and 10. That's right.
Absolute joke. Absolute shocking.
What's Joanne's kind of schedule been like recently? How many times a year?
3 times. That's her third fight.
Three this year. Yeah. So it's not. It's normally 2.
I mean, even then, that's like she's making. It's that'll be okay
US
money, but that's the thing. Yeah,
US tax is a big hit as well.
Did you see things like? I know it's different, but right. there was that big fortnight competition at Madison Square Garden, and the guy got
3 million.
3 million, but it turns out he was only getting like $1.5 million after tax.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it's like there's
only $1 million. No, I would take only 10 grand.
For somebody to come on like making say over 100 grand this year, there's probably a big chunk of that she's not seeing. So it's like it's hard. She's maybe getting like 60 grand. That's not exactly. That's just you're right. That's you just having like
that's just
I've got a decent job.
Yeah,
she's
right.
She's been she's got whatever she's got to look after her camp.
Yeah,
her coaches that are coming over and her medical bills and
God knows what else.
That sort of stuff. There's literally no, as you say, the guys that go in 10 and 10, there's no point.
Disgusting, isn't
it? Unless you're phenomenal and you know fine well that in another couple of fights you're going to be up in the upper echelons. And what's the point?
Well, you need a combination too, though, don't you? You need to not only just have a bit of skill set, you need to have a bit of something about you. Joanne Calderwood is just a delicate, gentle mouse when she talks. And that is what she is. I've met her in person a few times, and she's just super. And it's not something that's going to appease people's attention to when she's on. So when if she's on, like, say, Ariel Helwani's show this Monday, you're probably not going to see a lot of people tune in because she's not going to be saying anything carrots. She's not going to have a lot of charisma. No one's going to be like, "Oh, can't wait to hear her talk."
The thing is, everybody loves her, but it's just no marketable. She's like every time every time she'll do an interview or say Helwani, it's like, "Oh, she's so sweet." But that's all you get. Like, you never get anything else where like I just one of these days she's going to do one of these Helwani shows and she's just going to turn and see that fucker. I want Han right now. He's like, and
that's what you want. That's sadly what that's what the UFC kind of want. Do you know? I was speaking to a certain UFC fighter who I can't name. Was at the do you know the fighter retreat that they do?
Yeah.
So they were doing the fighter retreats, and basically what they do is when they're in there, they teach them about social media and stuff, how to put yourself out there and all that. And they're basically saying, we want you to be like Conor McGregor, but we don't want you to be Conor McGregor, but you want you to be like that because that makes more money. Not for them, for the UFC. So it gets more eyes on the UFC. And because if I'm getting 10 and 10, I'm like, bitch, what am I getting for that? Unless I get an extra 0 on my 10 and 10.
If I'm in the UFC, I'm getting 10 and 10. I'm getting a film crew and I'm going to the guy I'm fighting in the gym and I'm talking shit to him through the fucking door. I'm like,
and that's how you get like Kobe Covingtons and all the rest of it.
I'd go to Bellator myself and go, right, how much can I get in sponsorship?
Well, that's true.
Sweet.
That's the thing.
I'll take the chances there.
Yeah.
That's why some of the British fighters went to there, like like your Sol Rogers and your Lou Longs, a lot of other guys. Some of them obviously maybe might not made UFC, but a lot of the British guys that went over there just because they knew they can get the sponsorship to kind of boost up their income as well. Yeah,
you're right, man. Last one from Facebook before we wrap up, guys. Michelle Rankin asks, Diaz versus Masvidal confirmed for MSG. It should be the main event. Doesn't need a title. Doesn't need a title fight. Who are you guys picking? Fuck.
I would say Masvidal if Diaz. Why didn't he pick?
First fight back. Just enjoy the fight.
I'd maybe go off the top of my head. I'd go Masvidal. I know the performance against Pettis was good, but don't forget Pettis broke his foot in the first round. So that will have a bit of an effect on his performance. So Diaz got a bit more out of it, but I'll probably maybe go Masvidal because he can pop a lot harder. I think he's got legit good boxing, just like Diaz. So I think, but he's got a bit more crack in his hands. I'll probably go Masvidal because I think at ATT as well, I've got a really good camp with good game plans. So yeah, I'll swing it. I'll go with Masvidal. I'm not even watching any tape study yet. I'm trying to go with that one quickly.
I want to see these two guys come out, beat each other up, but like beat each other up in a way where they kind of like each other. So it's like we're kicking the shit at each other, but here's like a fist bump in between rounds where like fuck it, this is a good fight. I'm enjoying this. I want to see because obviously it's East Coast versus West Coast gang.
Yeah, a slap.
Yeah, I want to see a bit of kind of like we're fighting each other, but fuck it, let's just have fun. I want to see something like that, and I think that's what we're going to get because even when Diaz called him out saying West Coast versus East Coast gangster, Masvidal he seemed up for that. He was like fucking right. So yeah, I'm that's going to be a really good one to watch, all the build up and stuff like that. So that should be. I don't think it's going to be a shit talk between the two. I think it's just going to be the two of them know we're going to have a great fight. We're going to make a shit ton of money. Let's just run with it.
And Michelle was saying here about how it doesn't need a title fight, I guess, for the main event. Would you all agree with that this probably should be main event?
Yeah. When was it? And when's it been announced for?
MSG, aye, November.
No, when? November,
I don't know. Early November usually isn't it, for these ones?
Have they not already gave it a title? I'm sure they're not calling it the bad mofo.
The hardcore championship.
I made a joke last night just as the main event was starting. It was like both fighters in the cage, and I was like, "Fucking, here we go." Connor's music, the lights go. Connor's music, and they come down and there's guest commentary.
I think the UFC will be hoping Diaz wins because then he's still relevant for the Conor thing if that comes off. I've never seen Masvidal on the ground, so I don't know what he's like down there. But standing, I think he's got he's probably the better. He's got the power.
I was actually surprised. See when Diaz come back for that fight, the hype around him between the casual fans and stuff. It's still amazing. Because you were talking about
it was absence make it heart grow fonder. That's what was going on there. Even if John, you said this was like 3 million on the countdown show or something just for Diaz.
Huge fan. Yeah, people like big on them. Yeah.
I had so many casual people that they literally only watch it when Conor fights, but they tuned in for Khabib's fight last night because he beat Conor. So and they realise he's the baddest man on the planet. And if that whole thing with Conor hadn't happened with Khabib, I don't think he would be anywhere near where he is. That whole brawl and everything, that just put his stock up even higher. Yeah. At the time, it seemed crazy. I thought, what is going on here? And then now you see it now, and you're thinking, he's hugging Dana White, and the fans love him. He's put his stock up so high. But Diaz hasn't needed it. And Diaz has managed to just basically be himself and have the fans still want to watch him, even though he get beat, and even though it's been years since he fought. He's doing really well, and I think this fight is a perfect one. If he beats Masvidal, it's a perfect leverage for him to kind of make himself even bigger, and for the UFC to make a shit ton of money off him.
Here's the thing, right? By the way, it's probably just me, right? But see, before the kind of build up, before the Conor Diaz thing, and it all kicking off, and that was going to be the fight. Do you not think Nate wasn't really that relevant? He was always Nick's wee brother.
Yeah,
Nate
was always the guy.
Diaz, but he was never really. He was more a kind of.
He was top of the prelims or early main card, so he was.
Mm-hmm.
And he was always a fun guy because you knew he would get some acting things, but he was always like top of the prelims, early main card. He would win one, he would lose one, he would get a few wins together, and then would never get to the top of the mountain. But that make it. But we don't know. Like, he obviously takes some time off because he knew he could have made some money, but he could have been away grinding away the skills. He might be in the same boat. He goes, look, I'm getting on in my career. I've made a ton of money. I can make even more money because people still love me. If I can just get my head down, maybe make a bake up, because this is going to be his last push for a title, because he must be like 35, 36 now.
Don't know.
That's
the time of his life, I would say.
Yeah, so yeah, he's got to be pushing for that. He probably doesn't even want a title shot. He's probably just hoping McGregor comes back for that trilogy and probably calls it a day then.
Do you don't think he's maybe back now because he's now a businessman? He's got his CBD oil going on.
I think he's taking the sport a bit. I think he's taking himself a bit more serious because he was missing weight, wasn't he, as well? If you what did he miss weight by? Like when he weighed in at like 160 or something against, who was it he weighed in bad? I think it's maybe Bobby Green. someone like that, and he weighed in like at 160. He had no interest in fighting. I think he just kind of, because he'd been around since he was young in the UFC, I think kind of almost like fell out of love a bit, and he just was. I think he just needed that time off, a bit of a break, and just kind of rekindle it.
If you're fighting every few months and in and out, you get to know the staff, but you're always you're coming in, you're saying hello, you're hanging about, you're doing your fight. But must be a totally different ball game when you're the guy fighting Conor McGregor. You must basically be getting chauffeured about like you're a rock star effectively if you're fighting McGregor. You get that wee 6 months period where everything you do, you're a rock star. You're the guy that's fighting Conor McGregor, and he's obviously done that, made a ton of money, but managed to stay up at that level. Yeah, and I bet he's finally now thinking, finally, I'm getting some appreciation. I quite like this. Let's stick at it for a wee bit, make some money.
For sure, man. Well, there you have it, guys. UFC 242 Abu Dhabi in the books. Thanks to everyone who got in touch with your questions and comments. We'll be back on the roundtable in 2 weeks' time, down under, for the UFC 243 preview, Adesanya versus Whittaker. In the meantime, let me thank our panel here today, starting with Jon Ferguson. Jon, always a pleasure for your time, sir. Let everyone know about MMA Huddle and what you guys have got coming up.
Just the usual breakdowns. Obviously, Gaethje Cowboy. Me and Will are going to be recording that on Monday evening and posting it out on Tuesday evening. I've had the summer holidays off, so to speak, with daddy duties, so I didn't do many interviews. Even though I knew a load of fight cards been up, we just had the Cage Warriors, tournament just on, that crazy tournament happened and everything. So there's loads of fights on. I've just taken a little step away from that to enjoy the summer holidays with being dad. But yeah, I'll be getting that stuff sorted. So again, just jump on YouTube, MMA Huddle, if you want, and you'll see the stuff on there. And it's been a pleasure speaking with you all, gents.
Always a pleasure, my friend. From Fight Talk Scotland, Big Daddy himself, Don Wilson. Don, always a pleasure, mate. Let people know, everyone, where to check you out, mate.
Fight Talk Scotland, it's been a bit quieter recently. Busy with music and having a baby, so I feel as if I haven't actually wrote an article in like 3 months or something like that. But hopefully try and get back to it soon. But getting into a routine now with the baby, so I might get some time. I've even get time at work. I sit and watch Netflix at work while I'm working, but I need to be in a comfortable position to actually sit and do my writing. I can't be the guy that's getting a laptop and huddled in a corner on a train just rattling off articles. I need to be comfy. Fight Talk Scotland, hopefully get back to routine soon.
Good stuff, man. Finally, Daily Record's greatest journalist, massive thank you as always to my man Tom Heffernan.
Thanks very much, John, and I promise I'll not leave it as long this time since I was last on. It feels like Conor was active the last time I was on.
Superb, man. If you like this podcast, be sure to subscribe on iTunes. Live every Sunday, 8:30pm-ish, talking MMA. Go to facebook.com/martial arts chat. Give us a like there, or follow us on Twitter at martial arts chat. I'm Jon R McElroy, and I'll catch you next time on the Roundtable.
The sound of tiny pieces of gravel crunching and popping against one another underneath the sport-styled wheels of the new Ford Focus ST, stimulating your senses into a spine-tinglingly relaxed state? No? Or maybe its powerful engine and the latest technology might help you relax instead. Contact your local Ford dealer to find out more about the new Focus ST and experience a new way to relax.
At Cathay Pacific, we believe it's not about how far you've come, it's about how far you'll go. That's why ambition and innovation are at the heart of our story, challenging ourselves to move beyond previous achievements and to move you forward in life. With state-of-the-art cabins, world-class entertainment, and award-winning service, you'll arrive ready to make the most of what lies ahead. Flying to over 70 destinations across Asia and Australia, Cathay Pacific. Move beyond.